At 78, Sally Struthers finally tells the truth about Carroll O'Connor. Sally Struthers was born Sally Ann Struthers on July 28, 1947 in the city of Portland, Oregon, USA. She was born as the daughter of Surgeon Robert Alden Struthers and his wife Margaret Caroline, and she grew up as one of two children in their home with her sister Sue. Her childhood was shaped by her family's life, including what it was like being raised in a medical household where her father's job as a surgeon was important and came with responsibility. But even though it seemed like a stable home, Sally faced a tough time when her father left the family when she was around 10 years old. This breakup deeply affected her as it left her mother to raise two daughters mostly on her own. That experience of early trouble and strength would later help Struthers' acting, giving her an emotional understanding that she brought into the many roles she played on screen and stage. Struthers' first steps into the entertainment world came in the late 1960s and early 1970s when she began appearing in small but important roles. She got the attention of audiences with a small but memorable part in a 1970 drama movie 5 Easy Pieces. Though her time on screen was short, she appeared alongside Jack Nicholson, one of the most famous actors of that time, and held her own in scenes that needed strong presence and skill. This role was important in her career because it put her in a highly praised film at the very start of her acting journey, helping her get noticed in Hollywood. That same year, she also began to make a name for herself on television, appearing in variety shows such as the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour and the Tim Conway Comedy Hour. Both series gave her a chance to show off her comedic timing and range, traits that would later become key parts of her career. Just 1 year later, in 1971, Sally Struthers achieved her big breakthrough when she joined the cast of the groundbreaking sitcom All in the Family. Cast as Gloria Stivic, the daughter of Archie and Edith Bunker and the wife of Michael Meathead Stivic, Struthers found herself in a role that made her a household name almost overnight. Gloria was a character stuck between the traditional values of her outspoken father Archie and the progressive ideas of her husband, and Struthers brought to the part both warmth and a fiery independence. She played Gloria until 1978, and during that time, the show became one of the most influential sitcoms in American television history, dealing with controversial topics like racism, women's rights, and generational conflicts. Struthers' performance earned her widespread praise and firmly established her as a talented actress capable of both comedy and drama. In 1972, Struthers showed her range by taking on a very different kind of role in the crime thriller The Getaway. Starring alongside Steve McQueen and Ollie McGraw, she played the restless wife of a veterinarian, a role that showed her ability to step outside the comedic world of television sitcoms and into more serious and complex material. The film was a major box office success, further raising her profile in Hollywood. A few years later, in 1977, she delivered another strong dramatic performance in the television film Intimate Strangers, in which she portrayed a victim of physical abuse. The movie was one of the first to address domestic violence on television, and Struthers' portrayal brought attention to a difficult subject, earning her respect as a performer who could tackle challenging and socially important roles. Her connection to the world of All in the Family remained strong, and from 1982 to 1983, Struthers reprised the role of Gloria in the spin-off series Gloria, which focused on her character as a newly single mother navigating life on her own. Although the show did not last beyond one season, it gave her a chance to continue developing the role that had brought her fame. Around the same time, she also became a familiar face on game shows, appearing as an occasional guest on the popular series Win, Lose, or Draw, where her humor and lively personality shone through. In the early 2000s, Struthers once again found herself in a beloved television series when she was cast as Babette Dell in Gilmore Girls. Babette, the eccentric, big-hearted, and talkative neighbor in the fictional town of Stars Hollow, quickly became a fan favorite. Struthers played the role with warmth and comedic flair, adding depth to the quirky community that made the show so endearing. Just a few years later, in 2003, she took on another recurring television role as Louise Miller, the manipulative mother of Bill Miller in the sitcom Still Standing. These roles showed her adaptability across generations of television, moving from 1970s family sitcoms to early 2000s cult favorites. Alongside her screen work, Struthers also enjoyed a thriving career in voice acting. She lent her voice to numerous animated series across the decades, starting with the Pebbles and Bam Bam show and Fred Flintstone and Friends. Later, she brought her distinctive vocal energy to characters in Disney's Tailspin, the satirical dinosaur-themed sitcom Dinosaurs, the comedic mystery series Droopy, Master Detective, and the educational children's show Betts's Kindergarten Adventures. These projects introduced her to younger audiences and demonstrated her ability to adapt her talent to a wide range of media, from primetime sitcoms to Saturday morning cartoons. Her stage career was just as vibrant. From 1994 to 1998, Struthers starred in the musical Grease at the Eugene O'Neill Theater, delighting audiences with her comedic timing and musical performance. Afterward, she took on the role of the scheming orphanage matron, Miss Hannigan, in productions of Annie, performing both at the Fabulous Fox Theater and later in the show's national tour. Her performance as Miss Hannigan was particularly praised for combining humor with just the right touch of villainy, making her a standout in the classic play. Beginning in the early 2000s, she became a regular performer at the Ogunquit Playhouse in Maine, a theater known for its high-quality productions and loyal audiences. Throughout the early 2000s, Struthers continued her stage work with appearances in a variety of productions. She performed in plays such as Love Letters, Curtains, Cinderella, Hello, Dolly, and The Drowsy Chaperone, showcasing her versatility across comedy, drama, and musical theater. In 2012, she starred as Roz Klein in 9 to 5, the musical, a role that allowed her to tap into her comedic energy once again. From 2015 to 2016, she took on the role of Agnes Gooch in Mame at the Riverside Center Dinner Theater, once again proving that she could shine in both comedic supporting roles and larger-than-life stage performances. Sally Struthers experienced a major milestone in her personal life when she married psychiatrist William C. Rader on December 18th. Her union with Rader represented a blending of two very different professional worlds: her life in the entertainment industry and his career in the medical field. Rader was an established psychiatrist who later became known for his controversial involvement in alternative medical practices, but at the time of their marriage, he was primarily known for his traditional psychiatric work. For Struthers, who had spent much of her early adult life under the public eye, this marriage marked the beginning of a quieter, more intimate chapter that contrasted with the glitz and pressures of Hollywood stardom. The couple's marriage soon expanded into parenthood with the arrival of their daughter Samantha Rader, who became the center of Struthers' world. Sally often described motherhood as one of the greatest joys of her life, and the bond she shared with Samantha gave her a sense of purpose that went beyond acting and public recognition. She frequently spoke about how becoming a mother changed her outlook on life, making her more protective, nurturing, and determined to balance her demanding career with her responsibilities at home. For Struthers, Samantha was not only her child, but also her closest companion, and she would later proudly support her daughter's endeavors, including Samantha's own path into psychology and holistic healing. Despite the happiness they once shared, the marriage between Struthers and Rader ultimately faced challenges that they could not overcome. After a little over 5 years together, the relationship came to an end, and on January 19, 1983, the couple finalized their divorce. The separation was difficult, but Struthers continued to focus on her role as a devoted mother, ensuring that Samantha was given a stable and loving environment despite the changes in family dynamics. Although her marriage to Rader had not lasted, Struthers maintained her independence and resilience, channeling her energy into raising her daughter while also continuing to pursue her career in television, theater, and philanthropy. When Sally Struthers looks back on her career, there is one figure who stands out bigger than almost anyone else: Carroll O'Connor, the man who played her television father, Archie Bunker, on All in the Family. For decades, audiences have associated the two together: Sally as Gloria, the headstrong daughter of Archie, and Carroll as the stubborn patriarch who became one of the most talked-about characters in television history. Now at 78 years old, Struthers has begun to open up in detail about the relationship she shared with O'Connor, both on-screen and off, and the truth she feels the world should know about him. Carroll wasn't just Archie Bunker, Struthers explained. He was a deeply sensitive, highly intelligent man who carried a heart much bigger than people realized. What you saw on TV, that gruff exterior, the sharp tongue, the political arguments, that was acting. In real life, Carroll was thoughtful, gentle, and extremely protective of the people he cared about. And he cared about me more than I think I even knew at the time. Struthers recalled how, when she was first cast as Gloria in 1971, she was nervous about stepping into a groundbreaking show that was already pushing boundaries. I was young, untested in some ways, and the scripts were heavier than anything I'd ever encountered, she said. Carroll immediately took me under his wing. He never made me feel small. He wanted me to succeed because he understood that Gloria was vital to the story. Not just a daughter, but a new generation challenging Archie's way of thinking. He told me, "You're not just acting, you're speaking for millions of young women out there." That gave me a sense of responsibility I had never felt before. According to Struthers, O'Connor wasn't only a mentor when the cameras were rolling. He was a presence offset who looked after the cast like family. He would invite me to dinner, check in on me, and he was always concerned about how I was handling the fame, she said. It's easy to forget, but All in the Family became a phenomenon overnight. Suddenly, we were on the covers of magazines, in the middle of cultural debates, and it was overwhelming. Carroll noticed whenever I was struggling, and he would quietly remind me that all of this was fleeting. The work was what mattered. Struthers also revealed that O'Connor had a mischievous sense of humor, one that balanced the heavy themes of the show. Carroll loved to laugh, and he loved making other people laugh. He'd tell these long Irish jokes between takes, and sometimes Norman Lear would get frustrated because the set would dissolve into laughter when we were supposed to be serious. But Carroll understood that humor kept us sane. It kept the family spirit alive on set, which is why the show worked so well. It really did feel like a family, even when Archie and Gloria were shouting at each other. One truth Struthers emphasized was how much O'Connor respected women, despite playing a character famous for sexist rants. Archie Bunker might have been dismissive of Gloria and Edith, but Carroll was the exact opposite. He admired Jean Stapleton beyond words and treated me as an equal even though I was young and learning. He valued our voices and made sure they were heard. I think that's why people were able to love Archie despite his flaws, because Carroll's humanity always leaked through the character. Struthers grew emotional when speaking about O'Connor's later years and his struggles, especially after the tragic death of his son Hugh in 1995. That broke Carroll's heart in a way none of us could fully comprehend, she admitted. He kept going. He kept acting, but you could see the sadness in his eyes. Even in his darkest moments, though, he still reached out to others, still offered kindness. That's the kind of man he was. His pain didn't turn him bitter. It made him even more compassionate. Looking back now, Struthers said she feels a responsibility to honor O'Connor's memory by sharing these stories. People will always remember Archie Bunker, but I want them to remember Carroll O'Connor, too. The man who believed in justice, who adored his wife Nancy, who treated his castmates as family, and who carried more wisdom in his heart